Can't zoom in anymore.
Watch out. It's almost gone.
That looks really weird. I think it's just a plane, but it's like the...
I don't think it is. It's not leaving a trail. That's burning. Something's burning. What is that? I mean, don't you see the...
All right. What is that? That's the question. Anyway, welcome to the American Nomad podcast. I am the American Nomad, your host, Rav Holly. It is, what is it? Monday, December the 28th, 2020. We're just a few days away from being out of this dreaded year. Don't know that 2021 is going to be any better, but if that doesn't surprise me in 2020 right there, whatever that was. I'm sure they're going to say it was some kind of Chinese space junk, as Tasha mentioned, or something to that effect. Sorry about that, Eve, English Bulldog. There was no real sound in the beginning of that video. There was no commentary. It was just amateur video. Hey, Random Nomad, good to see you. Tasha, good to see you. Brooklyn Bulldog, you guys hear me okay? If you didn't get my message, I'm on a completely different computer. I changed over from my Dell server computer over to my Dell Alienware computer. So hoping everything works here. We'll find out, I guess. Anyway, yeah, so I stumbled upon this video on Twitter. It was being discussed, and everybody's trying to figure out what it is, including myself, because it didn't appear to be it really didn't appear to be a meteor. Maybe it was a meteor. I know the last time that I saw something like this, it was in China, and they basically said that China was doing like a secret missile test or something. That thing looked like it was going down to crash. But there's I haven't heard any discussion about where it crashed, where it was. I mean, it was this was filmed in West Virginia. So my question is, that thing was hurling towards the earth. It had to hit somewhere, right? So why is nobody talking about where this hit, what it was? Did it not hit? Did it not make an impact? Did it not hit the earth? Because it looked like it was getting really close there at the end of the video. So I'm trying to figure out, where is it? Like, there's no discussion of it at all. There's basically this video, and then that's it. So are they going to try to tell us it burned out before it hit the ground? Because I don't believe that, because it was still enormous. And this video was taken, you could tell it was taken from quite a ways away. So that thing had to have been ginormous. We're not talking about, the size of a small runabout boat, that you run around in on the lake. That thing had to have been like the size of a jumbo jet, or a couple of jumbo jets. It was big. And wherever it landed, we should know about it. But with everything that's going on here in 2020, it just doesn't surprise me. I mean, you have the whole COVID situation, and then you have what just happened on Christmas Day in downtown Nashville, and then still to this day, nobody's heard from Tiffany Dover. Nobody knows what's happened to Tiffany Dover. She's just completely MIA. We did a video on Tiffany Dover last week talking about her. Where was she? Now, I will say there's a video that came out that was released by the hospital. If you haven't seen this video, I was going to try to pull it up and I didn't get a chance to. But it's a little short video of Tiffany Dover, supposedly Tiffany Dover. And if you watch the video, the girl's got completely different hair. She's got a different hair part, like the girl's hair's parted in the middle. She's wearing Tiffany's necklace. She has a likeness to Tiffany Dover, but it does not look like Tiffany Dover. And that's how these conspiracy theories get started. I'm going to tell you right now, that's how these things get started, because especially these clone conspiracy theories about people being cloned. There's a big conspiracy out there that Dave Chappelle was cloned, that all of these These people have been cloned. Like Dave Chappelle disappeared and then he comes back and he's jacked. When he was on Chappelle's show, he's this little skinny guy, and then he comes back, he's jacked. Now, I'm not saying Dave Chappelle was cloned, but I'm saying that is a conspiracy theory, and there are people out there that actually do believe that the Dave Chappelle that you see today is not the Dave Chappelle that we used to watch on the Chappelle show. I can tell you that Dave Chappelle is a habitual smoker. He smokes probably a pack of cigarettes a day. And anybody that's been around the new jacked Dave Chappelle, he still smokes a pack of cigarettes a day. He's a chain smoker. So I don't believe that Dave Chappelle was cloned. And if they cloned him, then why would they continually make him a chain smoker? But anyway, that's how these things get started. Let me see if I can pull up YouTube really quick, and we'll try to pull up that video of Tiffany Dover at the hospital here. Bear with me. Like I said, I've changed computer systems, so I'm a little bit, things are a little bit disarray, or not. They're not all up here like I usually have them. Let's see if this is it. Yeah, here it is. I've got it right here. So let me share my screen. So this is the Tiffany Dover video. Hopefully you guys can hear it. But this is supposed to be Tiffany Dover right here. And it's got this girl's got her necklace on. And it's a little 21-second video of her supposedly with all of her friends. Or her co-workers. See, she's got Tiffany Dover's necklace on, but she looks like she's a broader shouldered girl. Tiffany Dover was actually very petite. Let me think where I could find Tiffany Dover. Let's see if we go to images maybe. Let's see. Let's just do, oh, that's YouTube still. Let's go to Google and see if we can find... So her Facebook page is, I was told it had been deleted, but then they said it wasn't deleted, that it just was set to private. So here's Tiffany Dover. This is the day that she actually passed out on, on live TV. See, her hair is split to the side right there. And you can see that her roots need to be done. Her hair's darker down here. You can tell that she colors her hair. Her hair's lighter right here. So she needs to get her hair dyed. But if you go back and watch that video, that chick's hair is parted in the middle. Now let's see if anybody's got it up here. There's okay, right here. So now let's look at this. If it's now look. So see the hair's parted right there in the middle, and it's not. It's not. And this is literally right after she right after the day after she fainted. So see, her hair's dark all the way around. It's parted in the middle. And this girl is very wide shoulders. Tiffany Dover is a very petite, skinny, oh, that's not Tiffany, very petite, skinny girl. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's, kind of crazy. Sound like a Camo Dave. So that's Tiffany's necklace right there. So, I mean, she could part her hair differently, but to me, and look at the eyebrows. The eyebrows are different. See if we can go back to that picture. So this girl's eyebrows are different. See how they're straight? Tiffany's eyebrows has an arch to them. This girl's eyebrows, there's no arch. See the eyebrows? There's a big arch right there, and they're thicker here and thinner over there, and they're light brown like her hair. So I don't know, man. That's where all this is how these conspiracy theories get started. I mean, let's say that it is her, why would she go get her hair dyed and then start parting it in the middle for the first time? If you go through her Instagram, see her hair right here? If you go through her Instagram page, her hair, all the way back to when she was a teenager in high school, she has that same part on the side of her head. Now, my mother was a cosmetologist and a hairstylist. She went to hairstyle school. And I can tell you, by parting your hair, if you've parted your hair on the side like this your entire life, and then all of a sudden you want to feather it and part it in the middle, that's not that easy to do, because cosmetologists will tell you there's a thing that's considered, it's called, it's called training your hair. And so the longer you do something with your hair, it trains your hair to do and to stay like that. So you can't just automatically go from a lifelong side part like that to a middle part. I mean, it just, I just don't get it. But you can see that this girl, that the hair is parted completely right in the middle right there. And if you go to any other photo of Tiffany, her hair is parted on the side and it's very thin right here. It's very thin on this side. You can tell she's got thin hair. And then if you go back to that other picture, this girl looks like she's got pretty thick hair. I mean, it's pretty thick down here. I don't know, man. It's one of those things that, you know what they say, it makes you go, because it definitely makes me go, because it really does not look like the same girl. It could be a cousin. Somebody said that was a cousin, or it was somebody that she's close to, that's her, but you know how conspiracy theories go. But she does have this necklace. So if you saw Tiffany taking see, there's this necklace. If you saw her getting vaccinated, right, that's after she passed out right here, but this is right before she was vaccinated. She has this necklace on. So if you go back to this picture, this same necklace. Yeah. So this girl's got really thick, broad shoulders. Tiffany was pretty petite. So I don't know, man. What do you guys think? Somebody can tell me what you guys think, because I don't know. It looks pretty weird to me. But not as weird as the freak. As the Jesus, can't hit the right button. It's not as weird to me as the freaking thing in the sky over West Virginia. But this is what everybody's still talking about, is this Tiffany Dover thing. I mean, it has not went away. Yeah, there's nothing about it in the mainstream media, but, it is what it is. Freedom Dove, hey. Let's see who else. Freedom Dove, good to see you, Freedom Dove. Who else do we have in here? Freedom Dove says, I'm okay right now, I'm just trying to figure out my SUV build. It's unnerving me. Yeah, you guys are talking to each other in the room. Let's see, we still have, we got 6 people in here. Anyway, guys, welcome. I hope you guys had a great Christmas. How was everybody's Christmas? Mine was spent in this office just working on trying to get new things together for this freaking podcast and other things I'm doing. I will say that it's kind of funny. It's not funny, but it's ironic. This Stream Deck that I've been trying to pull off and get for almost a year, this entire year now. This thing's not cheap. It's close to $300. With tax. It's like $250 with tax and everything. So I got a Stream Deck, and lo and behold, it's still in the box. Hasn't been opened. I'm contemplating now. I've been wanting this thing. I've been talking about it and talking about wanting one. But here's the deal. It doesn't work with this StreamYard software. It's doesn't work. So if I use my old software on OBS, yeah, it's perfect for that, but it doesn't work on the StreamYard. So it is one of those things. I got to figure it out. And if I want to have a guest on, like I've been having, then I need to use this software here, StreamYard. And StreamYard is easier. The reason I wanted the Stream Deck is because all of this stuff that I can do here, pretty much, I can add the other camera like that, that's that kind of stuff. I can add my other computer. That stuff I can just pretty much do here with a click of a mouse. And OBS, you need one of these to make it easier. Oh, there we go. I'm trying to get all this stuff going. And I want to apologize because our last broadcast with Badge, our last podcast with Badge, there was a horrible echo, and I guess Freedom Dove was trying to tell me that there was an echo, but I didn't understand what she was saying because I didn't hear the echo. So Badge's voice was echoing something horrible, and I put it on. I went ahead and uploaded the video, and I even uploaded the podcast, and I know people's ears were probably bleeding every time Badge talked, but I didn't hear the echo, so I didn't even know there was an echo. I saw in the room. I saw that Freedom Dove said something about an echo, but I wasn't for sure what she was talking about. I thought maybe she was getting some kind of echo or something. I didn't know that it was an echo that was happening throughout the entire podcast that you guys were getting that I wasn't getting. The reason I wear these headphones is because I'm supposed to be able to hear exactly what's happening in the broadcast. It didn't work that way. And the only thing I can figure out is the reason there was an echo is it had to have been something to do with this second camera. I have this fan cam set up. So the next time I do a broadcast with a guest, I'm probably not going to have this one A camera. I'm probably not going to have this. You're not going to see this shot here if I have a guest, because I'm too worried. I'm pretty sure that this was the culprit that caused the echo, was this camera here. I mean, it's cool to have it, but I would rather have a podcast with no terrible echo than, have this little behind the scenes camera. Hey, Lamont. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you driving home, Lamont. Be sure to check out Lamont's YouTube channel if you get a chance. So how was everybody's Christmas? Did anybody do anything? Brooklyn English Bulldog. Let's see what Eve says. Saturday, I got a fever, headaches, body aches, slept all day, not feeling well at all. Uh-oh. That's not good, Eve. Let's just hope you're getting coming down with a little flu and it's not COVID. It's been a weird, I was not even sure I was going to do the show today. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but, let's see, what day was Christmas? Friday? Saturday was the 26th, right? Wasn't Friday, Christmas Day? Jesus, I don't even know. Yeah, Friday was Christmas Day. So Saturday, one of my very best friends from Long Beach, California, I partied with a guy, I worked with a guy. He was one of my very best friends from Long Beach. And I got word, yesterday morning or Saturday morning, that he passed away. And I'll show you a picture of him. And he actually passed away from COVID. And Jerry was probably, he was probably not even 35. Maybe he was 35, 36. Still a young man. You can see he's a little heavy. He was obese. He was like a big wrestler, though. He was a big teddy bear. And he was literally one of my best. Trump hater, of course. But, I still love the guy. He was a sweetheart of a guy, man. He was really one of the best guys. He's still a young man. And he posted on his Facebook page on, December 16th. Let's go back to post. Yeah, on December 16th. Yeah, he was making posts on Facebook on December 16th. December 6th, December 16th. And then on December 6th, right after December 16th, somewhere in there, like a few days after he posted this on Facebook, he ended up getting COVID. His whole family has COVID, I guess. And then he passed away. He literally died at home from COVID on Saturday, the day after Christmas, December 26th. And everybody in downtown Long Beach knew Jerry. He was actually a special ed, he was special ed, and then he did he was like a behavior therapist, a behavior special ed teacher or whatever, and he was just going back to school for his master's degree to get his master's. So he was always helping out the community. I can tell you the kind of guy that Jerry was. So when I lived in downtown Long Beach, he was just a big gentle giant. We were bouncers at the same place, and when I would go on vacation or something, I would always call Jerry to take my place. And he was a bouncer at Sevilla nightclub in downtown Long Beach. I would call him to, if I had to go on vacation or something, I would get him to come in. This is Jerry. That's him bouncing at Sevilla. That's some celebrity that I don't know who it is. But I would get him to come in and, to take over my job while I was out of town or whatever a lot of times. He was just a genuinely great guy, big teddy bear, Dallas Cowboy fan, which I loved about him because I'm a Cowboy fan as well, because I'm actually from Dallas, but he was a big Cowboy fan, Dallas Cowboys fan. But he, I'm still a little bit in shock over it. It's still, it's just like he was such a young guy. Now I won't say that he was in good health because, he was overweight, he was obese, and if they're not lying to us because they've told us that the biggest complication you're going to have if you get COVID, surviving COVID, is if you're obese. People that are obese have a really hard time getting past it. But Jerry was, it wasn't like Jerry was a couch potato. Jerry was always out about doing things. He drank way too much, but that's part of the lifestyle living in downtown Long Beach, is everybody drinks down there on a continuous basis. I did too when I lived down there. It's a singles party atmosphere kind of down there. So yeah, it's what do you say? I don't know. Don't even know what to say. It's just still a little bit in shock that he's gone. And then I hear, the nightmare, because I know people that I know a guy that was actually there when he actually passed away. And then I hear through the grapevine, because Jerry was a big guy. Jerry probably weighed 300 pounds, maybe 300, 325. Big guy. Jerry's a big wrestler looking guy. And I heard, this could be completely false information. It's not been verified by anybody. I haven't actually talked to anybody. I've just heard this through the grapevine, that they literally could not find anybody, or they wouldn't come get him. Like after he passed away, they didn't have anybody from the county to come get him. He died at home. His whole family has COVID. They all have COVID, and he was at home where he died with his other family. I think his family lived together. I think he still lived with his parents. You don't have big Mexican families. Sometimes they all just kind of share a dwelling. So I guess, I don't know where Jerry lived. That's what I'm guessing, or I'm guessing that he got sick and he went to his parents' house. So I think he was at his parents' house when he passed away. And they couldn't find anybody to come get him. Now I don't know if they haven't yet or not, but it was it's just a horrific situation. And then his whole other family had COVID, so nobody would come get him because nobody wanted to come to the house. And it's Christmas, day after Christmas, so they're calling people, trying to get people over there to come get him, and nobody will come get him. So I heard that kind of nightmarish story coming out of Italy back when Italy was really in the peak of their pandemic. So yeah, it is what it is, but it's a super sad situation. I'm still a little bummed about it. Not a little bummed. I'm really bummed about it. Really, wasn't even for sure I was going to do the show today. Because, one thing I learned, when my son passed away, is people die. Yeah, people die. It doesn't surprise me anymore when somebody dies. You still get that initial shock by it, but I'm not surprised by it anymore. Because any and all of us, you don't know from 1 minute to the next. I could be sitting here, after doing this podcast and kill over with a heart attack. You just never know. We all get so wrapped up in our own personal problems, or like my truck getting broken into like last week, and I was fretting over that for or I'm still fretting over it. But when it comes to the grand scheme of things, Jerry lost his life. I'm sitting here crying over, or dwelling over some freaking photography lights that really, in the grand scheme of things, ain't going to mean nothing. In 15 years, those lights won't be worth any more than a light bulb is, the burned out light bulb. So, poor Jerry, he lost it. He lost his life. But I do want to give you guys a story. I know you don't know Jerry, but I want to give you a story really quick on what kind of guy Jerry really was. And I think it was probably 2008, 2009. So I had lived in Long Beach for 7 years, or when I left, 7 to 8 years, I lived in downtown Long Beach. And during the time I lived in Long Beach, I had probably, I would say 5 or 6 people hit me up and ask me if I would help them move. Because people are single in Long Beach. People are moving into downtown Long Beach. They're moving out of downtown Long Beach. Sometimes they move into downtown Long Beach and they're just barely scraping by. So they get like a little studio apartment. Then they get a girlfriend and they move in together. And then they decide to move to a bigger place. And so people are moving around in downtown Long Beach all the time. So I moved 3 times. I upgraded. Every time I started making more money, I would find a nicer place in downtown Long Beach and move to a different place. Or a bigger place. So I ended up helping probably 5 or 6 people move when I lived in downtown Long Beach. And a couple of these were really what I considered really good friends. And I'm not going to mention any names because somebody that's watching this might know who I'm talking about. But one of the guys I worked with at the bar that I worked with, he hit me up one time to help him move. And I was like, oh man, because I had already had plans to go out that Friday night and he wanted me to help him Saturday morning. So I was like, damn. He was like, can we get started? Like, I really want to get started because it was summertime. He's like, I want to get started early before it gets too hot. So can we start like probably around 8:30, 9 o'clock latest? I'm like, yeah. So I volunteered to help him. So I still went out to my engagement and got, I was like, I'm going to go out. I'm not going to drink because I have to help so-and-so move in the morning. So I'm not going to drink. I went out, that went right out the window after there was some pretty girls there and we started taking shots. And so I ended up getting pretty obliterated. Got home, got to bed probably about 4:30 in the morning, 4:30 in the morning, and was supposed to be at Slade's at 9 by 8:30 or 9 o'clock. So I said I was going to say any names. So anyway, I got to the apartment to help my buddy move, and I got there and I was so hungover. I mean, when I woke up, I was still drunk. I was like, oh man, I cannot do this. But I was like, you know what? I got to be a man of my word. I told him I was going to help him, so I got to suck it up. And it's just one day. I'll get over it. I'm not going to die from it. So I'm going to go and help him move. So I did, and I suffered. I am not going to lie. I suffered. The only thing I can remember suffering more from was from COVID at the beginning of this year because I was hurting. There's nothing worse than being extremely hungover, having a headache, feeling dehydrated and a little woozy from being so inebriated the night before, and having to pick up heavy furniture and carry them down the stairs, and then pick up heavy furniture and carry it up the stairs. Because of course he moved downstairs. I mean, he was upstairs and was moving out and moving upstairs at the new place. So it was stairs down, stairs up, and we're carrying couches and desks and everything else. So you can imagine. So after probably about 2.5, 3 hours of moving, after about lunch or grabbing something to eat for lunch, I started feeling a little better. The alcohol, I was sweating it out. So I started feeling a little better. So I only really suffered probably 3 or 4 hours. But long story short, I suffered. And he was one of the people that I asked for him to help me move when I needed to move. And I was moving from one side of the alley to the other side of the alley, if that makes sense. Just right across. I wasn't very far. We didn't even have to put everything in a truck and take it. We could carry it from one place to the other. But I did need somebody to help me move the big stuff. I moved all the small stuff that I could move by myself. And then I had everything else ready to go. So I asked and I bought some beer, and I bought the veggie tray and a cheese tray with a pepperoni and, the little meat tray for anybody that come to help me move. Right. And told everybody, and I had several people. I even had people at the bar the night before I had to move the next day going, hey man, you still moving tomorrow? I'm like, yeah. I'm still moving tomorrow. I'm like, I got some beer and stuff, man. So, we can have a few beers or whatever while we're moving and, whatever. So the next day I'd had everybody to get there. I staggered people coming in. Hey, I told some people be here at 10:30. Some people be here at 12, and then 1:30, and so we could just stagger people in so nobody would get too worn out and that kind of thing. And the people that got there early could leave if they wanted to. I was trying to be considerate of everybody. Anyway, nobody, not one person that I asked to help me move showed up. And every single person that I asked to help me move were the people that I had helped move when they asked me. And 2 of these people, I had helped them move on multiple occasions. One of them I helped them move 3 times. Not one of those people showed up to help me move. Not one. And so, I was like, well, I'll just figure it, and when nobody showed, at 12, nobody, or 10:30, nobody showed up. By noon, nobody had showed up. And I'm still waiting because this is the stuff that I have to move is bigger stuff, like a refrigerator and, bigger stuff that I really needed help moving. I'd moved all the boxes and all the smaller stuff that I could carry myself. I even moved my love seat by myself. I got my love seat up on my back and was able to carry it by myself and move it. But anyway, nobody showed up. And so now, I've got to be out. So I'm trying to engineer, with ingenuity, figure out so I'm setting up skateboards. I have a couple of skateboards. So I'm putting, I'm trying to get the couch on a skateboard and get it up on the end so I can move it on a skateboard. And lo and behold, about 2 or 3 in the afternoon, Jerry shows up. Jerry just out of the blue. Jerry just shows up and he goes, "Hey, Rav, I'm here." I'm like, "What's up, Big Jer?" He goes, "I'm here." I'm like, "Here for what?" He goes, "I'm here to help. Don't you need help moving?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude, I do, but I didn't ask you." He goes, "No, but I heard you were moving and you might need some help. So I'm here. So what do you got to move? Let's move." And I was like, "Dude, are you serious?" He's like, Yeah. I said, "Who told you I was moving?" He goes, "I just heard last night that you were moving. You were asking people if they would help you." And he goes, "I wasn't doing anything today, so I thought I would just come by and see if you needed some help." I'm like, "Dude, all the people that I asked to help me move, not one of those people showed up. You're the only person that showed up to help me move." And it was funny because I had told people, I only have maybe it'll take us a couple hours, 2 or 3 hours to move the stuff that I had to move. Jerry and I started moving. We ended up sitting down and having a couple of beers before we started moving. But we started moving probably about 3 p.m. and we didn't finish till probably 6:30 or 7 o'clock. And my neighbor, Merrill, ended up coming in and helping me. And so I ended up having Jerry and Merrill and me. And it actually went faster. But that's the kind of guy that, that Jerry was. I never asked Jerry to help me move. Even though he was a big, strong guy and one of my better friends, I was only asking people that I had personally helped move. People that had asked me to help them move, and I went to help them move. Those are the people that I felt, well, they owe me, don't owe me, but hopefully they'll feel like returning the favor. Not one of them showed up. Not one of them called. None of them. I didn't hear from any of them. And even later on when I would run into them, I'd be like, "Hey, thanks for helping me move," and they just kind of like, "Oh, I had something come up that day. I couldn't do it." You know what I mean? But Jerry, who I did not even ask him, never even brought it to his attention. He heard through the grapevine, through the bar the night before that I had talked to people about if they were going to show up to help me move. And Jerry just heard that I probably needed some help moving and came to my place and helped me move everything. He did not leave. Even after we had moved the refrigerator, my couch, the big stuff that I really needed help with, I told him, "Jerry, all I really needed help was with the refrigerator, the couch, and that big desk. And you can go, dude. I can get the rest of this by myself. I just really needed some help to get that big stuff." He's like, "No, dude." He goes, "I'm here." He goes, "Let's finish it." He goes, "Let's get it all moved so you don't have to worry about it by yourself." He goes, "I'm here, man. I'm here to help you move." And that's the kind of guy Jerry was, and it just breaks my heart that he lost his life to COVID. I mean, such a waste. I mean, there's people in the world that are just really, really good people. And Jerry was just one of those people that was a really, really good person. I mean, he worked with special needs kids. That was his job. That's what he loved. And then he was a bouncer because he was such a big guy. He would be a bouncer at night. So he had his day job where he would go work with, behavior therapists with these, troubled teenagers and stuff like that, trying to help them get on the right track. And then at night he would hit the clubs in downtown Long Beach and be a bouncer. But he was just a good freaking person, man. Such a good person. And his parents, I didn't even know this. I think I'd heard it, but I'd forgot. His parents are dealing now. They're elderly, of course. Jerry was a grown man, so his parents are elderly. They're probably in their 60s or 70s, and they're dealing now with the loss of Jerry. But Jerry's older brother passed away 9 months ago. So within 9 months, his elderly parents have lost 2 sons, and both of their sons were young. It's not like they were, 50 years old. I mean, Jerry was, 33 to 36, 30. I don't know how old exactly Jerry was, but he wasn't that old. He was still a young man, a lot younger than me. I'm probably pretty close to old enough to be his dad. Step Van Dan, good to see you, buddy. I'm just kind of, I'm just kind of talking about a friend of mine I lost over the weekend to the dreaded COVID. So, it's funny because, I rail against the whole mask thing. I'm sick of wearing a mask. I'm sick of the hysteria of COVID. But I did read a statistic, and then I did some looking because I was like, that can't be right when I read the statistic. Or when I saw it, it was like in a medical journal. It was like doctors talking to each other about the COVID thing. And, the statistic was that 1 in 1,000 Americans have died from COVID. 1 in 1,000. One in every 1,000 Americans, one has died from COVID. That's a lot. Even though they were talking about 2 million deaths, they were talking about 2 million deaths in the initial stages of COVID, and we're at 300 and something thousand. But it's not like it's stopping. It's still raging on. There's a few thousand people dying every day. So if this goes on for a couple of years, how many people is that going to be in a couple of years? We might actually reach, those numbers up there. Because we say this, but we say it acting like it's going to be over, and it's not over. Freedom Dove says, very sad. I bet he could have been red-pilled too. I don't know, Freedom Dove. I think he was pretty set in his ways. Jerry was, he was a very proud Mexican American, and he was born and raised right here in Southern California. So those, a lot of my friends like that, they lean pretty left, and Jerry was one of them. But even though we didn't agree politically, he didn't never have a cross word to say about me. I never saw, I have a lot of my friends that lean hard left and, for the last 4 years have been railing against Trump, saying all kinds of nasty, nasty things about Trump and, deleting me or deleting anybody that says anything positive about Trump. Jerry, even though Jerry railed against Trump, I never saw Jerry saying anything derogatory about Trump. Now, he would post articles, that he would read that was on the, but I never seen him saying anything about Trump. Freedom Dove says, unfortunately, there's a second and third strain. I actually believe that's true, Freedom Dove. I actually believe that, I actually think there's a really strong strain, and then I think there's a weak strain. I think the people that get COVID and test positive for COVID and they're asymptomatic. I mean, I'm not a doctor. Let me put that disclaimer out there right now. I'm not a doctor. I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to this stuff. I'm just going off my own intuition. But I just think it's really weird that some people get COVID, they get it, they test positive for it, and they're asymptomatic. They literally do not get sick. They don't have a problem with it. It's nothing. And then some people get it like I got it, and it literally almost killed me. I mean, I was really, really, really sick. And I can tell you that if I had been, I'm pretty healthy, not as healthy as I should be now. I used to be a lot healthier when I worked out a lot. Back, in my bouncer days, but now I'm not as healthy but because I was healthy for all those years, I think it helps me. But I can see where if I would have been any unhealthier than I am right now, I couldn't have beat COVID. There's no way I would have beat it. I would have been like Jerry. It would have got me. I mean, it almost got me. I was really, really, really sick. Really sick. So I understand when these people get COVID that are, have poor diet, they just don't take very good care of themselves. And, I understand why they don't make it. And they say obesity is one of the major things, and Jerry was obese, underlying health conditions and obesity. And a big major one is obesity. And Jerry, when it comes down to it, he was very obese. It's almost like they engineered this virus to take out people that, kind of like are unhealthy on society. It's really bad. It takes out the elderly. If you're elderly and get it, good luck. I mean, it's killing people in killing elderly people in rest homes like flies. And then you have anybody that's obese and that has underlying health conditions. It takes them out. And it's only the people that are really, really, really healthy that when they get really sick from it that survive it. And some of them don't survive it. I was reading an article earlier where I think like a 19-year-old autistic kid got it, and he died from it. Lance Hale, what's up, Lance? Good to see you, buddy. Lance says diabetics are hit hard. Yes, sir. Diabetics, anybody with any underlying health conditions. And obesity is a big one, and that's what they don't talk about in this country is obesity. Obesity is a major problem in this country, and if you get COVID and you're obese, man, I would really be scared. When I got COVID, I was you're reading art. When I had COVID, you're reading articles in the mainstream media. And all they're doing is talking about all the people that died. Oh, this person died. This person was making fun of COVID, and a week later he died of COVID. And I'm looking at this stuff sitting there having COVID. So if I was sitting there having COVID and being really sick with COVID and I was obese, I'd be terrified. Let's get back in here in the chat. I guess you guys figured it out. We're 45 minutes into the show that we don't have a guest today. I just, it's Christmas, so I wasn't really reaching out trying to find anybody to be on the show. And maybe, I'm not sure. One reason I do like streaming on this platform is because it's so easy. And the other thing is I'm streaming to Twitch and YouTube right now. You guys probably don't know that. But yeah, if you noticed the last time that I had the podcast with my buddy John Leonard, there was if you look at your name in the chat room, you see the little red YouTube icon there. If you noticed in that podcast, there was the purple icon because there was some Twitch people that actually came in the room and was commenting. So we're streaming on YouTube and we're streaming on Twitch right now. And I am still, I'll show you guys, I am still banned. If you see right here, my account is still restricted. Let's see. It's been restricted since December the 9th for 30 days. So I think I have about 10 or 11 days left being in Facebook jail. And then after that, once I get out of Facebook jail, I'm probably not going to be very active on Facebook much anymore other than promotion. I'll just use it to promote the show. But this new software, StreamYard, I can stream to all three places. I can stream to YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook at the same time. So that may be why I stay with this software, using it even when I don't have a guest. Because initially what I'd planned is when I have a guest, I was going to use StreamYard. And then when I didn't have a guest like today, I would use OBS, my old software. Because I like the bells and whistles I have with OBS as far as the different transitions and stuff that's hard to do in this software. Let's get back in the room, see what you guys have to say. Let's see. Freedom Dove says Fauci already said back in January that asymptomatic people aren't spreading. Now he flip-flopped. Go figure. Yeah, I never believed that, Freedom Dove, from the get-go. I know that they were saying that people that were asymptomatic weren't spreaders. I didn't believe that at all. I mean, it's a virus. If you've got it, you can spread it. I mean, now I do remember when they were saying that masks didn't work. That was the first initial thing, is they were saying that a mask didn't work. And then all of a sudden you didn't, and then all of a sudden, yeah, you have to wear a mask. Masks save lives. And the other thing is, I can guarantee you this. Well, I can't guarantee you, but I would bet you Jerry was never going anywhere without a mask. I bet you he took all the precautions. I bet you he was very careful, took all the precautions, and I bet you he wore a mask everywhere. And he still got COVID, and it still killed him. I think not that I'm saying that masks are bad or anything like that. I'm not saying they're bad. I just think one of the biggest problems with masks is it gives people a false sense of security, that they think that, oh yeah, I got a mask on, I'm safe from COVID. You're not. Believe me, because I was wearing a mask when I got it. As a matter of fact, I would bet that most people's masks are pretty contaminated because most people are using the mask over and over and over and over again. And if you go out and you touch something that has COVID on it, or if you somehow get droplets on your mask of COVID and you touch the mask to take it off your face, you're going to get COVID. And everybody's wearing the same masks over and over and over and over. Especially when you see the cloth mask. I'm wearing the little goofy paper mask, like this. I keep them in my desk, and I only wear them like a week or two, and then I chunk them and get another one. But still, I'm wearing the same one for a week or two. Random Nomad says maybe the only way is correct wearing of the N95s, maybe. Possibly, but that's what I was wearing when I got COVID. I had a real N95. I don't think I still have one anymore. I actually have I have some good masks. Yeah, here we go. This is a 3M9002. This is a really good mask. This is what I started with. They have the dual band, so you have that band for your head and then the band for the back. This is not a little mask that flips over your ears. And this is this one really seals really well. It's a 3M9002. It's not an N95, but it's very close. If you're working in if you don't need a respirator, this mask will do it. It's totally different than this. This is ridiculous, almost ridiculous. But this is what doctors wear in surgery. But if you're working in like a toxin environment, this is what you wear. But this is what doctors and nurses wear, these little masks right here. But they do wear them. I mean, you're not going to go into surgery that somebody's not going to have them, that the hospital staff is not going to have one of those masks on. So they do have to work to some extent, or doctors and nurses wouldn't wear them going into surgery. I don't know how much they help with stopping or, really helping a virus. I mean, that's debatable, and everybody's debating it. I just know that people that are dying of COVID were wearing masks religiously. And I guarantee you Jerry was probably one of those people. So anyway, let's talk a little bit about, we got about 10 minutes left. Let's talk a little bit about what happened in Nashville, Tennessee with the bombing. Haven't seen anything like that. I mean, I don't really attribute 9/11. 9/11 was a foreign terrorist attack, here on America. But we really haven't seen anything like the Nashville bombing since Oklahoma City back in, the 90s? What was that, 97? 96? What year was the Oklahoma City bombing? We haven't seen anything like that since Oklahoma. And it's pretty interesting that the guy drove a RV. He had a Ford C-Class RV, if you've seen the pictures, and he drove that thing into downtown Nashville, parked it on the city street, and then had a recording telling people it was playing Downtown, the song Downtown, the old ballad about downtown. I can't remember who the singer is, but it was blaring this song, and then it would have it had a loudspeaker telling people, warning them to evacuate the area, and then it went with a countdown. You have 15 minutes to evacuate the area. Please evacuate the area. You have 15 minutes. And luckily, police initially responded to the downtown, to that area, for a shooting. So I'm thinking that was probably the bomber himself, probably called that in to get law enforcement down there in that vicinity and to help start evacuating people, which luckily they did. I think some law enforcement agencies probably wouldn't have taken that. They probably would have been stumped by that, or confused by that, and not maybe take it seriously. But the Nashville police took it seriously and immediately started evacuating people and getting people out of the area. Even knocking on doors, waking people up. I think it happened like 5:30 in the morning. Knocking on doors, waking people up and getting them out of getting them out of harm's way and evacuating them from the area when the bomb went off. It did go off. When it said you have 15 minutes, it went off in 15 minutes. So the bomber had that thing planned out pretty well. I will say that my whole thing is there's RVs all over these metropolitan areas, and you see people traveling around in their RVs, but being a van lifer or an RV dweller, which a lot of us are in the Nomad community that watch my show, it could bring a leeriness of RVs, because people are getting sick of RVs in the cities anyway. Already, I can tell you this. People don't like seeing RVs parked in the city. Even if they're parked on a city street, people don't like seeing them because they know people are dwelling in them, especially here in LA, and they want them gone. They want the city to tow them away. They just don't want them there anymore. So there's already some hostility built up against RVs anyway in a metropolitan area. And now you have this, so people are going to be even more leery of RVs. And then you have the creeper van thing that people are, always make fun of, jokes about anyway, the van down by the river. So this, in my opinion, brings a whole other negative spotlight to RVs. So it's unfortunate that the guy used an RV. But they're not even saying what kind of explosives were used yet or anything. But I have my own theory. I have my own, what I think probably he did. And what I think he probably did, I've watched the blast. And it's not like an ammonia nitrate blast like the Oklahoma City bombing or anything like that. What I think he probably did is I think he probably used the propane tank on that RV. I think he probably had a 10 to 20 gallon propane tank on that RV. He probably set it up with some kind of timer in the RV, and then he turned on the stove and let the RV fill up with propane to a point, and then he had some kind of detonator that went off at the 15-minute increment, like he like his little recording said. Now I'm just guessing. I could be completely wrong, but it's going to be interesting to see what they say, what kind of bomb blast it was. But I suspect the reason he used his RV is because, as most of us know, an RV can be a bomb because it has a propane tank built into it. And it's funny when you have RVs driving around everywhere, they're literally bombs just driving around the road because they got that big propane tank in them. And if a truck runs into them or anything, man, and that propane tank explodes, propane is very volatile. It's amazing that when RVs were invented, that at that time, safety recommendations didn't mind you driving around on a bomb with a freaking bomb in your vehicle. Which is hilarious to an extent, and now it's grandfathered in. So it's not, even though it's like an elephant in the room. Like every law enforcement person, every person that knows anything about anything knows how dangerous that RV, that propane tank in that RV could be. But nobody says anything about it. They just, they're still putting them in RVs today. And they work great. I'm not saying that they're bad. And there's probably over the years, the last 50 years, they've been putting propane tanks in RVs. I don't know. There's probably a handful of, catastrophes that nobody even knows about, where an RV caught on fire and exploded, or, there was a bad wreck and, it caught on fire during the wreck and exploded. I can say on my propane tank on Bertha, my B-plus camper, it's pretty old and dated because, it's the original tank that was put in 82. And when I bought it, the gauge on it has a gauge so you can see full or empty, and the gauge doesn't work. And, it's rusted, and, the coupler and everything looks like it's pretty worn, or it's just old like the RV. So when I got the RV, the first thing I was going to do was replace the the tank. So I took it into a propane place and asked them, how much they would charge me to replace the tank. And this was out like in Yucca Valley. And the guy's like, replace the propane tank. What's wrong with it? I said, nothing's wrong with it. I just, it's old and I'm a little leery of it. And I figure it's kind of hard to get to fill. So I figured one of the first things I'd do as an upgrade would be upgrade the propane tank. And he goes, dude, he goes, this RV was made like in 1982. He goes, the safety of a propane tank in those days are completely different from what we have now. He goes, the propane tanks you order now for an RV is a little thin steel, like you get your barbecue grill propane tank. He goes, that propane tank is real steel, like a propane tank that they used to put out, or that they put out beside people's houses. He goes, you can't even really get those propane tanks anymore. He goes, that thing's 10 times safer than the new ones. He goes, that thing is made to not be punctured. You could take that thing out and throw it down, drag it behind a truck down the street and it's not going to puncture. I was like, oh. He goes, yeah, you don't need a new propane tank. I was like, oh. He goes, just, service that one if it ever starts leaking or anything. He goes, but you don't need a new propane tank. I was like, well, that's good to know, man. Freedom Dove. Let's see. She posted a link in here for us. Natural news. Nashville explosion was actually a missile strike. Yeah, I saw that. It looks kind of like a missile strike, but yeah, a missile strike would have left a dent in the earth. And if you see the explosion, it looks like something flies in. I saw that. I saw that conspiracy theory. Yeah. Why would somebody missile strike a RV sitting in front of the AT&T building? It doesn't even make sense. But yeah, if you watch the video, it kind of does look like a missile strike, but I guarantee it was the flash from that propane tank. All that propane building up in that RV. And he might have had some, who knows, he might have got some dynamite or might have got something else, to help, to boost the explosion. But I bet you it was a propane explosion. There was a explosion that happened a few years ago, maybe 3-4 years ago, of natural gas, and it literally leveled a whole city block. It blew like every house up because one house had a natural gas leak, and it ended up leveling like the whole city block. Propane's on that same level. You've never seen a big propane explosion. Random Nomad says they say the guy died in the blast. Yeah, they found bits and pieces of him. They said that yeah, I saw that, Freedom Dove. It was going downward. I saw that. I watched the video. Yeah, I get it, that it kind of, it looked like that there was a missile flying in that hit the RV. But my question is why? Why would anybody target some random RV with a missile? That doesn't even make sense. The big thing, or there's another theory out there that, because they don't know what the motive is. They know what the guy is. They know the guy that did it supposedly, and that he blew himself up, and they were able to match his DNA. They said, but there's a. So gosh, I just lost my train of thought. They, it was one of the theories that they had on why. That his father actually worked for AT&T, and that maybe he was trying to get back for when his father worked for AT&T, because he parked right in front of the AT&T building. The other thing is they were thinking was that he was paranoid about the 5G, that he was trying to take AT&T out or knock AT&T out because he was a 5G conspiracy theorist. So it'll be interesting to see what they come up with, just like the Vegas shooting. Like the Vegas shooting, I've heard a lot of different things about that, but the official story, just like 9/11, they don't add up. I've heard that I got to end this because we're an hour in and I don't want to go too far over tonight. But one other thing I wanted to touch base on really quick is right before I went live on the show tonight, I got a message that, and I don't know, I haven't been able to confirm this, so you'll have to help me. But I was told that that WikiLeaks released all of their emails, all of the Hillary Clinton emails, all of the emails, and that there was one email that said that the Vegas shooting was done by the FBI or something like that. So that's interesting. I haven't got to look into it, so could all be BS, but it'll be, if it's true, that's going to be probably a upcoming topic of the show, because that's going to be some interesting reading right there. If WikiLeaks did release all of their confidential emails that they've been holding. and they actually put them all out there. So that'll be really interesting to find out, or if it's just more, not true stuff. But yeah, I'd be really interested to read those emails myself. Read into a lot of those emails myself, like I did with the old John Podesta and all that stuff when it was released. Very, very eye-opening stuff. Yeah, Freedom Dove says Vegas was so suspicious. Yeah, I don't believe, with that whole Vegas thing, being a gun person myself, the first thing that I was like, why did this guy smuggle up all of those guns? Why would he smuggle up all of those guns? They said there was like 30-something guns up there. It doesn't even make sense. You don't need but 1 or 2 guns to do what he did. You're not going to be changing guns every 5 seconds. There's no reason to have 37 guns. There's guns in the bathtub, guns laying all over the floor. Doesn't even make sense. That does not even make sense. Why he needed like 36, 37 guns. Yeah, if you're going to shoot up a concert, you need 1 gun with lots of ammunition, maybe 2 or 3 guns in case one locks up. If you want to have a gun that's got distance, so you have 1 gun to get distance, and then you need 1 gun for close up. Maybe the police break in, so you want a gun that's quicker on the draw. Even if you use like let's look at a military trade, like an M5. Or an MP5. You can build out an MP5 so it has distance, or you can build an MP5 so it's close range. So if you're clearing a room, that's the only reason you would need different guns, is for different range. So I heard that he was shooting the gas, these big, huge gas refinery tanks, and I walked up to them when I was in Vegas, and you could see the dents in the tanks, and those tanks were a long way away from the MGM. So he was evidently shooting those tanks, trying to get them to blow up or something, they thought. But there's no reason to need 36 guns and have them spread out all over the room. That didn't even make sense. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that just doesn't, it's like done for, theatrics. You know what I mean? It's like somebody trying to peddle something that, oh, look, we need gun control. We need new gun control laws because, this crazy Looney Tune guy, he was able to get his hands on 36 guns, had 36 guns in his, in his hotel room when he shot up the country festival, the country concert. Yeah, it doesn't even make sense. I mean, you only need 1 or 2 guns. I would have 1 gun for hypothetically, if I was going to do something like that, I would have 1 gun for distance, even like a 30-06. But supposedly he was using an AR-15, so you'd have AR-15 set up for distance. And I heard those gunshots don't sound like an AR-15 to me. Sounds like a lot higher caliber rifle than an AR-15. But anyway, let's say it is an AR-15. You'd have 1 set up for distance, with a scope on it, then 1 close, and then you'd want 1 for backup in case one of your weapons locked up. Because, that can happen. It could have a misfire. You could get a bullet stuck in the chamber that you can't clear, and then it's useless. So if you're doing a mass shooting and your gun locked up, that'd be a problem. So you would want an extra gun in case your gun locked up, extra gun or 2. So I could see having 3 or 4 guns of close to the same, but not 36 guns. Doesn't even make sense. Yeah, 223, 556 exactly. I mean, it sounds more like a 556. 223 is, that's just barely, a little bit bigger than 22. 22 ammunition. That's what people don't understand about an AR-15. They think an AR-15 is, like a 50 caliber sniper rifle. It's not. It's a 223. Basically, it was a squirrel hunting ammunition. Now, not that you can't do damage with an AR-15. You can kill a lot of people with an AR-15. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying it's not a big, heavy caliber gun, and people that know guns know that. It's a pretty small, but a 223, you can kill coyotes. I mean, a 223 is a great gun, a great rifle. Basically, it's my brother. It's one of his preferred, out on the ranch. It's one of his preferred rifles is just a 223 rifle with a good scope on it. Bolt action. I'm trying to remember, it says bolt action. I've shot 2 or 3 of his. I tried to shoot a coyote the last time I was on the ranch for their wedding. Guns OG, what is up, buddy? You still in the room? Hey, Nomad, you got any snow up there yet? No, But I will say, I'm in California, bro. There's snow. What is that? What's that? I will say that we did get a winter storm that's going on right now, and I walked from here to the end of the street to get a burger before the show because I hadn't eaten today. And by the time I got back, I was drenched. It's been raining here for about 24 hours now straight, but we never get any rain, so we needed it. Anyway, guys, we're going to wrap this thing up. It's 5, almost 10 after. Has anybody got any further questions? Hopefully, I'm going to be trying to book some more guests on the show. But it's the holidays right now. So I just, reaching out to people, asking them to be on the podcast is a little, I feel insensitive right now. But after the first of the year, man, we're going to really get hot and heavy into the podcast. Let's see. What did you say about John Leonard? Random Nomad says John Leonard did a video about it. Oh, did he do a video about it? Oh, Joe Leonard. Yeah, I saw Joe Leonard's video. I thought John Leonard was my buddy that was on just a couple of videos ago. Yeah, John Leonard. I saw John Leonard's video on it, I think. Oh, and I was going to say, it's if you haven't seen my podcast from the Tiffany video, that thing has got 4,000 views. So I'm going to be working those angles for future podcasts to try to get a little bit more traction on these videos, because it really gave my channel a good boost that it really, really needed. All right, guys, we are going to wrap this up. I apologize stumbling around there at the first of the freaking podcast. I forgot that I'd loaded my audio files for the intro and the outro. So I was trying to get them loaded off the other computer. And then just as I got the other computer monitor hooked up, I remembered, wait a minute, I thought I loaded those already. So I came to look. Sure enough, I had loaded them already, but I didn't get them all set up. And then I forgot to start, like always, the audio for the podcast. So I had to, while I had already started the countdown to the show, since it's only 30 seconds on this software instead of 2 or 4 minutes, I had to scramble around to try to get that stuff going. Let's see here. All right, guys. Freedom Dove says, I think I missed the video. It was the Tiffany Dover video, Freedom Dove. It wasn't the Badger one, not last podcast, but the one before with my buddy John Leonard, the libertarian John Leonard, who was on the podcast. You were here. That thing's gotten over 4,000 views. All right, guys. That is going to do it for this podcast. Let me see if I can do this without dropping my phone. I need to check the dates because today's the 28th, and I didn't do a show Christmas Day because that was Friday. So Wednesday will be the 30th. Yeah, we'll do one Wednesday, and then we may not do one on the 1st, which would be New Year's. But we'll be back here Wednesday the 30th, December 30th. I think that's my dad's birthday. Or is it the 31st? I always forget. It's either the 30th or the 31st. But anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this episode of the American Nomad Podcast. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in and joining in as usual. And hopefully we will see all of you back here Wednesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern. Mountain, Eastern, something like that. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for listening to the American Nomad Podcast. Until next time, keep looking up because that's where it all is.